Well, hey there, little lady. Looks like you got yourself a flat tire. Why don't you step aside and let me take care of that for you?
No thanks, I think I got this. Getting a flat can be pretty frustrating. Lots of people get anxiety over it when they're riding, but fixing a flat isn't really that hard once you get the tricks of the trade. Let me take you through it. Before we get started, let's talk about what you'll need to have with you. I have this handy kit with everything I need right here. The first thing is to make sure that you have the correct size tube with the correct valve for your wheel. The size of the tube is indicated on the sidewall of your tire. It turns out that my tire requires a tube that measures 700 by 35 to 45 with a Schrader valve. It's important to know which valve type you need. Generally, there are two types: the skinny Presta valve or the Schrader valve, which is the same valve type that you find on your car tire. In addition to a tube, you'll also need tire levers in order to get the tire off of the rim. You'll also need a way to inflate the tire, such as a CO2 cartridge and an inflator, or a pump. A CO2 inflator will fill the tire more quickly, but if you're not in a big hurry, a hand pump is a much more reliable tool. And finally, some kind of a bag to carry all of your items. Everything fits neatly inside. And now we're ready to get started. The first step is to shift your chain onto the smallest cog in the back. Depending on how many gears your bike has, you would shift it to the highest number on the gear shifter, such as 8, 9, or 10. Before we take the wheel off, we need to talk about how the wheel is attached to the bike. These days, generally, there's three types. There's a through axle, a quick release, and a nutted retention. Just note, if you have a nutted axle, you'll need a 15mm wrench to get your wheel off.
And now we're ready to fix our flat. First, we'll need to open up the brake so that we can allow the wheel to pass through. Once the brake is open, you need to open up the quick release. You hold the bike up and allow the wheel to drop right down. Now, lay your wheel down first. Find a nice safe place to lay down the bike and make sure that you lay it down drive side up so that you don't damage any of the parts. The first tools you'll need are your tire levers. Use it like a shoehorn and work it between the bead of the tire and the rim. And you should just be able to slide it right around until the entire bead is off the rim. Once the bead is off, you need to take your tube out. Start from the side that's away from the valve and work it all the way around to where the valve is, and then you can pop it out. Once you take your tube out, give it a little inspection to see where the hole might be, so that you can figure out where the hole is in the tire itself. If you inspect inside, you might find a little something if you look carefully, and there it is. Now you need to get your spare tube, and once you get it out of the box, you're going to want to put a little bit of air in it to make it easier to work with. Place your pump on and lock it on, and just give it a few pumps. Now we're ready to place the tube back into the tire again. You're going to want to put the valve side in first, and then you'll hold it up flat to make it easier to work with. Work the tube around and tuck it into the inside of the tire, until the entire tube is inside. Once you've gone all the way around, give it a complete inspection to make sure that none of the tube is sticking out so that it doesn't get pinched. Now, working away from you, you're going to roll the bead of the tire back onto the rim. And use your hand to roll it on. And then turn it back around away from you at the very end when it gets real tight, and you can use the palm of your hand to roll it on. It's a little tough, but with a little push, you'll get it right on there. Give it another inspection. Make sure none of the tube is sticking out before you go to put air in. You don't want to get another pinch flat. Now, place your pump on and lock it on, and we're ready to put air in. You'll want to hold the tire with the pump together so that you don't damage the valve. Once you're done pumping the tire, we're ready to put it back on the bike. Remember, we had it on the smallest cog, so if you line up the chain with the smallest cog and hold the bike steady and try to get it right into the center, it'll go right into the dropouts with a little bit of help. Make sure it's even and it drops right in. Now you want to close your quick release first, and then close your brakes again. And that's all there is to it. Now you're ready to ride again.